Hi, I'm Carol Prahinski, and I am your candidate for International Director, Region 6. Now, I started in Washington, D.C., actually Bethesda, Maryland, right outside of Washington, D.C. After graduating high school, I went to the University of Delaware, majored in operations management. When I graduated from there, I moved to, well, just outside of Boston, Cambridge, Massachusetts, where I worked for Nabisco. Ding! I made candy, Junior Mints, Charleston Chews, Sugar Daddies, Sugar Babies, Pom Poms, now called Junior Caramels, chocolate covered raisins, and chocolate covered peanuts. Manufacturing environments can be somewhat dangerous. My first year, well, I was exposed to that danger. I got 3 cavities. My first year, dangerous. After that, I learned how to take better care of my teeth. I worked there for 5 years. I was promoted twice. Part of the time I worked in the office environment where I was a scheduler and a planner. I also purchased corrugated cartons. After that, I was eventually promoted to become a supervisor on the day shift, and I made candy. I was basically in charge of the employees that were making the candy, but I learned how to do each of the jobs that they did. After 5 years, I decided I was ready for some new challenge. I went to Ocean Spray Cranberries. I worked there for 4 years and I went nowhere in terms of promotions. I was a little bit bored. So after that, I decided, okay, let me take some time off, regroup, and make some strategic plans. I decided to go to Ely, Minnesota in January to learn cross-country skiing and dog sledding. I was there for 2 weeks. It was extremely cold. We also did outdoor camping, negative 36 degrees Fahrenheit. I learned a lot about myself and I learned a lot about teamwork. In addition, that year, I took a bicycle trip across the United States. We started in Yorktown, Virginia, ended in Portland, Oregon, 4,600 miles, 93 days. I had 12 days off the bicycle. We rode fully loaded. And no, I don't mean drunk, for those of you wondering. I meant that we carried all of the equipment on the bicycle. Well, I bicycled with 11 other people. We ranged in age from 25 to 66. The older group liked to call us the diapers, and so we lovingly called them the geriatrics. Now, when I talk about teamwork, between Outward Bound and Adventure Cycling, which is the group that I rode with on this bicycle trip, I learned a lot about teamwork. And I learned that we cannot be successful if we try to do it all ourselves. Delegation is an important part, and recognition and ownership of our responsibilities is another important part. After my year off, I decided to enter the PhD program at Ohio State University, where I majored in operations management. I have a minor in industrial engineering and a minor in logistics. 5 years later, I moved to London, Ontario, where I was an assistant professor at the Ivy School of Business, University of Western Ontario. I was there about 5 years, working heavily on research, publishing business cases, and engaging with honor students from across Canada and a couple other locations as well. I was heavily recruited by Michigan State University, and right before I made the decision to leave, I met my husband, my future husband, and I was very happy to meet him, but I thought I would introduce him while my blue circle is located above London, Ontario. I moved to East Lansing, Michigan, and thankfully it wasn't too far away from my boyfriend at the time, and we were able to commute back and forth to say hello to each other. We eventually got married in 2011, and by the way, I've been at Michigan State University since 2007. I teach purchasing and the capstone course for our undergraduate seniors. I love teaching students that are passionate about our field of supply chain management. To me, it's one of the best joys of teaching is engaging with these youthful and positive outlooking individuals. And they're so excited to work in their fields. After being there now 10 years, my department chair recently asked me to teach a negotiations course. So at this point, I'll be teaching the negotiation course and the capstone course to seniors. So mostly juniors and seniors is where I'll be focused. Now, some of you might be saying, well, what next? Life is good, and My husband and I decided to buy a vacation home in Key West, Florida. We've spent the summer there, and we look forward to spending the winter and the next summer there as well. We're very excited about it. Now, at this point, I have visited 49 of the 50 states. Can you guess which state I haven't visited? Which one? You can see which ones I visited on my bicycle journey or which ones I've lived in. Okay, it is Alaska. And it's nothing against Alaska. I just haven't had a chance to visit. When I go to Alaska, I want to spend a lot of time there. In terms of Canada, I have visited 8 of the provinces, and I hope to visit all of them at some time, along with the territories. In terms of the rest of the world, I have visited these locations where I've spent at least 2 weeks. And I'd like to point out that Quito, Ecuador was my first international experience where I lived there as an exchange student. I was 18 years old, lived with a family in Quito, and yo puedo hablar en español. In addition, I have traveled to other parts of the world, as we see here. And I want to just say that this is where I've spent at least 2 weeks. In addition, I've gone to these locations that are circled in green, where I've spent, well, usually about a week. For example, most recently, I was in Costa Rica for a week at Christmas a year ago. I've been a member of Toastmasters since 2008, and like many of you, Toastmasters has transformed my life. But that's another story. What I do want to give you feedback on right now is that I've had many leadership roles in Toastmasters. I am qualified to be a successful international director with you. My most recent position is Region Advisor of Region 6, which includes Ontario, all of Quebec, all of Michigan, Northern Ohio, and a tiny bit of New York State. Prior to that, I was Chief Ambassador for District 62, Michigan. And before that, I was holding the role of District Governor and immediate past District Governor, again for Region 6, District 62. As District Governor, we achieved distinguished status. And the person who followed me as District Governor, she was able to lead the district to select distinguished status. I like to think that we turned the ship around and that we were now progressing in the right direction. I'm very proud to have worked with the team that I have, and if I was allowed to, I'd show you pictures of my trio. But because of rules, I'm not allowed to share that with you. And so I'll just simply say we had a great time, and it was a great group of individuals that we were able to work with that year. I also received Toastmaster of the Year in 2011 and 3 Distinguished Toastmaster Awards. Yes, I'm working on my 4th Toastmaster Award, Distinguished Toastmaster Award. And I also look forward to starting the new Revitalized Education Program. I'm a member of 4 clubs. The first one, and the one I've been part of the longest, is C Division Advanced Speakers out of Grand Ledge, Michigan, just on the west side of Lansing. I am the treasurer there, and I love being part of that club. It has really helped me grow and expand my capabilities. Another advanced club that I'm part of is East. I just became president of that club. It is a struggling club, and we are working hard to turn it around. We have 2 club coaches, and we hope to be successful. If you're ever in the Flint area, please drop by. This club offers something unique that other clubs in District 62, and I haven't seen anywhere else in the world, offers a coaching session where we have our 3 speakers, and then we offer an opportunity for 1 or 2 of those speakers to practice again based on the feedback we specifically gave them during the session. And then we help them hone that speech to get it even stronger. A third club that I recently became part of is the Online Presenters. I'm a charter member and a secretary with them. I love learning from them. They're just about green screens, technology, and how to be better at these recordings. And then my most recent club is Key West Toastmasters. They know how to party. They're creative. They have Red Nose Day. They have celebrations almost every meeting. I love being part of that club. Now, I've also been a sponsor, a mentor, and I currently am a coach, and I've been a coach many times. I would say that the coaching experience is probably one of my expertise at this point. My first coaching experience was with the Insights of Brighton, and I do have, with my coaching seminar, I do have some further discussion about that experience. But you might be wondering why I've listed it when it has 4 years. And if you know Toastmasters program, you know that you're supposed to be done in 2 years. I listed it because I took longer than the Toastmaster requirement of 2 years, we were successful. And I felt that if I had left at that time, after my 2-year period was finished, I wasn't sure that they would be able to continue the momentum to be strong and successful. So I stayed with them until they became distinguished. And at that point, we sure did celebrate and we earned it. That club was amazing. Now, most recently, I'm coaching Spartan Toastmasters, a club that's located at Michigan State University. With the university clubs, we have a lot of turnover, and working with them, though, is quite the joy. Wouldn't you and many of you like to have gotten exposed to Toastmasters as an undergraduate student back when you were 18 or 20 years old? I'm currently president of the National Speakers Association Michigan chapter, and I am an advanced diver. My husband and I dive. We've both done over 50 dives, and I've dove in mostly around Florida, but I also, of course, have dove in Michigan, and I mentioned Costa Rica to you earlier. This is a trip that I took to Mongolia. I was there for presenting to government leaders and business leaders on negotiations and supply chain management. My one day off, I got out into the countryside with my husband and the other presenters with us, and I very much enjoyed it. This is an eagle. I also experienced a camel ride and a horseback ride, and we also hung out at a shepherd's hut where we enjoyed their mutton that had been converted from a sheep that morning. I'm bicycling through campus. I take my bicycle 2 miles from my home to my office, and here's a picture of it this spring. It is pretty cold in Michigan, and so I've got my jacket on. Please notice my helmet, and this is a public safety announcement, is I do encourage helmets when you're bicycling. It will help save your brain, and I've seen too many incidences of that. I want you to have a great day. If you want to reach out to me, I can be reached at carol@msu.edu, or you can reach me through my website, www.carolforid.com, and you can schedule an appointment with me on the scheduling software. Remember to vote for Carol Prahinski, International Director, Region 6.